Hey guys, Alex Kahn here, and I just watched Zombieland 2, Double Tap, and this is the sequel that came 10 years after the first movie. After watching this movie, though, it seems like a perfectly natural progression from the first movie. Obviously, the little girl is now all grown up. It was cool just to see the old cast together, but they also added new characters, which added a lot to the movie. Now, this is, it obviously features zombies. It's not really a horror. Well, it is, but it's kind of horror comedy. Honestly, it's a really perfect mix between both. I'm typically not big into comedy movies, but this one did it right. Like, I love Tallahassee, and there's so many situational scenes in the movie that are just so well executed. It was funny. And also all the dialogue and banter was hilarious. It was just great fun to watch. And this movie does introduce some new zombie types in there. There's some really dumb ones, and then now there's some pretty sneaky ones. There's some really athletic ones. So it's not the same zombies that you saw in 2009's Zombieland, and it's not the same zombies that you see in the other zombie movies. But this movie is really cool. There's a lot of outside references to other pop culture things. I won't spoil any of those for you. I won't spoil any of the cameos for you, but there's some really big cameos in this movie. And if you are watching this movie and you're wondering about the very end, yes, stay till the very end of the credits. Stay in the middle of the credits. There are 2 extra scenes in this movie. You'll see the first one in the middle of the credits, and then you'll see the last one at the very end of the credits. I just repeated myself. This movie was freaking, I would say it's about 90% perfect for what it was, a horror comedy. The only reason why I docked off 10 points is because the climactic scene, it seemed a little messy. It seemed like they might have cut some corners in preparation and other things, but it got the job done. And this movie, as I said, was 90% perfect. I loved this movie, and what I really liked about this movie is this is ultimately a road movie. Like, you have some main vehicles. In fact, the first vehicle that is really seen is the 2009 Cadillac Presidential Limousine that Obama had in his entourage. But Tallahassee made some modifications. He added a top machine gun, added some reinforced steel windows to armor it up. He added a big bulldozer shovel at the front. Put his little Twinkie at the very front too. It was pretty awesome, but that's not the only vehicle you see. In fact, that car does get destroyed. That's not really a spoiler because you see that in the trailers too. Unless you were avoiding the trailers, in which case I apologize. But anyways, I've made 2 or 3 videos on that car alone because being in Orlando, I had the honor of seeing this car firsthand at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights because it's on display in the Zombieland 2 Double Tap Scare Zone. And every time I pass by that, I always take a picture of it. I take a picture with it. I get some video footage of it. So obviously in the trailers, the car does get destroyed. So I'm guessing they had 1, 2, maybe 3 versions of this vehicle. But again, that's not the only vehicle that you see in this movie. There is a vehicle that Tallahassee, that's Woody Harrelson, has to drive. He does not like that car. It's not the kind of car that his more masculine character should be seen driving. It's more the kind of car that a soccer mom would be driving, if I can put it that way. But it's a really cool movie. As I said, the characters they add to this movie are awesome. They're really funny, very engaging, and the vehicles that you see are pretty memorable. At least 3 of the vehicles are extremely memorable, and I already mentioned one of them, and that's the armored Cadillac. Woody Harrelson calls that thing the Beast. Yeah, it's just a really great movie. I can't really, I don't want to go into it without, I feel like I might ruin it for you guys. I've already discussed the big points. There's new zombie types. The cast is still perfect as ever. and all the dialogue is funny. The situational comedy is spot on, and yeah, not the best ending, but honestly, it kind of mirrored the first movie. In the first movie, when they're fighting at the carnival, it seemed like kind of a rushed climax, and that's how I felt was the case with this movie too. So in that regard, this was the perfect sequel to the first movie, Zombieland. So, any other things I should say? Not really. I love the movie. Some people were saying this was an incoherent mess. That is so not true. As I said, the first 95% of this movie is very coherent. It didn't seem like it's jumping from one situation to the next. It all seems to flow, in my opinion. The only thing that didn't flow perfectly was the climactic battle with the zombies. That seemed kind of rushed or whatever, but as I said, it did get the job done. So that's really the only criticism I saw about this movie was the incoherent plot, which, as I said, I didn't really feel that way about this movie. But all the strengths that you see in the reviews are very spot on. It's a sequel. It lived up to its predecessor. I just wish it didn't come 10 years after the fact. Because, we could have watched this movie, 8 years ago, and then watched another sequel 6 years ago. I don't know. But, yeah, I just want to put my thoughts out on this movie. Definitely check it out. If you're on the fence about this, don't be on the fence. That's a bad place to be. Definitely go to the theater and check it out. And also, I saw one of my friends in this movie. You might have seen him in one of my other videos regarding Baby Driver. So I'll put that out there. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Go watch Zombieland Double Tap.